There's nothing that makes a guy feel more ancient than realizing 90s hip hop is now oldies music. Dope is the name of the movie about a young black man in inner city Los Angeles and his self-described geeky friends and how they react when something happens to them that sends their world into a spin, and also about how the world reacts to them. And that's really the heart of this movie, and we'll go ahead and get into it because I think this is maybe the best thing about the movie. There's some really great themes here about what it means to label people a certain way. And in this case, as it deals with racism and being an African American in this culture, and how immediately there are things that people will see in you, and you can't be a 90s hip hop geek or, as he says, get good grades in school, because that's not how you're supposed to be defined. And I have to tell you, that's a very resonant theme and message, and not just for somebody who's in the inner city, but for all of us, for you, for me. There are ways that people label us, and that's just something we do to each other, not just for an inner city youth, but for a middle-aged white man, that puts things on us that we don't necessarily want, and means we have to be interested in certain things or not interested in other things. I mean, it doesn't actually mean that, but it feels that way culturally, and I think that message works in many, many ways. Part of that, I think, has to do with the performances, which are really good in this, especially the three kind of in the core group. I think they do a good job with what they're given. The plot is interesting. It kind of moves from place to place, a few surprises here and there. It doesn't feel like you know exactly what's going to happen. It's engaging and compelling. But I think overall, the main reason it works is because you like these characters. They're just interesting people, fully formed, realized people. And I think that goes a long way to making the movie compelling and quirky and interesting in many ways. Having said that, that is the same reason that the movie started to lose me in many ways, because these fully formed characters became more caricatures as the movie went on. And I think that was in order to serve the comedy. It's very over the top, a lot raunchier than I expected it to be. And not only is it over the top in those ways, it's over the top in plot ways that make these characters make choices that make them less likable and also less interesting and less realistic to me. So as the movie goes on, it starts to steal away some of that genuineness and compellingness that I found in the movie early on, and I start to lose a little bit of interest. It's kind of like A Tale of Two Movies in that way. Overall, I think Dope is still interesting and compelling, but because of those flaws that it has, it really drags the movie down for me, probably somewhere around a B- as I give it a grade. So that's probably where it ends up for me. But still one, especially if you like something that has a very particular point of view and a passion about the world, this movie definitely has that, and so that might keep you interested. If you love those kind of movies, you might enjoy Dope for those reasons. Thank you for checking out the review. I appreciate it. You can check out all the reviews at yourmoviefriend.com. Stay tuned for the best ever challenge here in just a second, but before we get to that, I want to remind you, if you hit the cards button up in the corner, it'll shift out and you'll be able to see choices for other reviews that I've done recently, as well as where the website is. Just click and go to yourmoviefriend.com. Or if you'd like to support, you can do that as well. Make sure if you do, in the comments, you put something you'd like me to review. I pick a review from supporters every month to do those, so you can do that. Also, stay tuned to my Twitter and Periscope. I'm doing initial thoughts periscoping right after the movies. Walk out of the theater, fire up my phone, give some thoughts, and also take some questions. I'm loving the community aspect of that as that continues to go on. Had a really interesting conversation with my Dope Periscope. My Periscope Dope. And it rhymed, so it threw me off. My apologies. So if you want to subscribe to the Periscope, you can do that. Just follow Aaron Dicer on Periscope or Twitter. And thanks for doing so. Okay, best ever challenge. What is the best movie about inner city crime ever made? I'd love to hear yours in the comments, and you can also take a guess at mine. I'll give you a little clue on mine. It's kind of a part found footage movie by the same guy that brought us Brad Pitt in a movie about World War II. A lot of dots to connect there, but I think maybe you can eventually get back to it. So that's mine. Again, leave yours in the comments and a guess at mine. And as always, the first person to guess mine correctly does get that point. Thanks, and here's your 5 extra seconds to hit subscribe, which is down here in the corner, the little logo. Just click it, and then subscribe. 5 seconds.